All right, everybody, welcome to our first video lesson. We'll have a lot of these throughout the semester. Each unit will have its own lesson that you're going to watch on your own. I might talk a little bit quickly because I have 15 minutes before this video cuts out, and you don't want to listen to me for more than 15 minutes at a time anyway. So I'll get through it as quickly as I can. You should, at this point, pull out the video worksheet that I gave you in class last week. And you should fill that in as we go through this presentation so that you can refer back to it. Feel free to rewind me, slow me down, speed me up, whatever works for you. I want to make sure you understand the content and you have enough to post in your discussion post at the end of the lesson. So just a brief overview. This class is obviously a biology class. Life science is a human approach, but it's more of an anatomy and physiology course. It's the biology of the human body. So we're going to talk a lot about life and DNA and what makes us us and how our body systems work together to maintain homeostasis, all of which we're going to get through in this week's PowerPoint. So to begin, my question for all of you is, are we just like any other animal? Now, there's no right or wrong to this question. I'll take a minute to think about what you think. Do you think we are? Do you think we are different? And you might say, we're different. You might say, you're sitting in a building that was built by other humans. You're watching a computer screen or a phone screen that was created by other humans. You're reading books that were written by other humans to learn about the world around us, and that makes us very different. However, at the base of it all, we meet all the characteristics of life just like all other animals, and not just animals, all other plants, all other bacteria, all living things have a certain criteria that they need to hit in order to be considered living. Those characteristics of life that we're going to talk about in this presentation. Our bodies are made up of individual cells. Cells are the smallest unit of living thing. Cells can survive by themselves, or they can survive in a multicellular organism like ourselves. And within those cells, we have DNA. This PowerPoint is going to be a lot about DNA. And that DNA is what makes us us. That DNA is how we pass our traits down to future generations. That DNA is how our body makes essential nutrients. So we'll talk a lot about DNA. We grow and develop. So the difference between growth and development, when we grow, we're getting bigger. Of course, you're bigger now than you were when you were a baby. But other things have changed too. You've developed. Your mind has developed. Parts of your bodies have developed. So development is more of a physical change that's taking place, a chemical change, as opposed to just more cells and getting bigger. So a seed turns into a flower. That seed develops into a flower. That flower grows taller. So those are the differences between growth and development. We evolve. So that means that as a species, we change over millions of years. So no one person can evolve in their lifetime. Evolution is what explains the human race getting progressively taller throughout our existence on the planet. Another example of evolution is wolves have evolved to become a new species, which we know as a dog. So we bring dogs into our house. We've domesticated dogs, but they initially started out as wolves and have evolved over time. The next one, we obtain and use energy and matter. This whole process is called metabolism. So when we take in food, we break it down, we absorb the nutrients from that food, and we use those nutrients to build muscle, to perform cellular processes, all of those things. All of those processes are called our metabolism. If you do that very quickly, you have a quick metabolism. If you do it slowly, you have a slow metabolism. As a species, we reproduce. This is essential for life because if organisms were not able to reproduce, then the species as a whole would eventually die out pretty quickly. We respond to the environment. If it's dark where you are and you go and walk outside, your pupils in your eyes will get smaller. as a response to the light coming in. If you're cold, you'll start to shiver. That's a response to your environment. If you're hungry, you might start to feel a little uneasy and dizzy. That's a response to your environment. And then finally, we maintain homeostasis. So unless you're sick or you've been in extremely cold environments for a long time, if you take your temperature, it should be about 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Whether you're bundled up under a blanket or you're outside running errands in the winter, your internal body temperature should maintain a stable level. That's what we call homeostasis. So internal conditions staying the same. Our body temperature doesn't fluctuate even though our external environment does fluctuate. Another example of homeostasis, if you were to go outside and it was really hot out, it's actually the same sort of example, but if you were to go outside and it was really hot out, what would start to happen? You would start to sweat. And that sweating is your body's way of cooling itself off, lowering your body temperature in order to maintain that constant level. All right. In addition to the characteristics of life, there are unifying themes. We're organized. So I'm going to write this up here so you have it. The smallest unit of life we talked about is a cell. So we start with a cell. When we get a lot of cells, is that hard to see? That is hard to see. Well, we're going to skip that. I'll just talk about it. The smallest unit of living things in our body is a cell. When we get cells that all work together to perform a similar function, you have a tissue. That would be like muscle tissue. Different types of tissue working together to perform a similar function is an organ. So now we're talking about the organs that make up our bodies. We've got the heart, the stomach, the lungs, the bones. When all of these organs work together, we have organ systems. So you have the digestive system, the respiratory system, the skeletal system. And when those systems all work together, we have what we call an organism. So we are an organism. Speaking of those organs that I just talked about, the heart, the lungs, the stomach, they're structures. The stomach is a structure, and it has specific functions that help it work the way it should. So it's made up of muscle. So when you swallow your food and it goes into your stomach, the muscles sort of churn the food and help break it down to digest it. There are also enzymes in the stomach that help break down our food. So that's how the structure of the stomach helps its function. Another example we'll talk about when we talk about the respiratory system, our lungs are designed so that at the very base of our lungs are these little pockets that fill with air. And they're really, really thin. The membrane on the outside of them is really thin so that it's really easy to exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen in the lungs. So that's a way that the structure of the lungs fits its function, which is gas exchange. We experience interdependence internally as well as with other life forms. So when we talked about all of our body systems working together, for instance, our digestive system breaks down our food. Those nutrients are absorbed into our blood. The blood carries those nutrients to all of our cells, and our cells use those nutrients to function. So that's how the the digestive system and the cardiovascular system work together. And we are a part of the cycling of matter and the flow of energy. So energy comes in from the sun, enters the plants, animals eat the plants, obtain the energy, and then eventually that energy leaves as heat. So energy is a one-way street, in and out. Matter, however, the things that make up organisms, are recycled again and again. So it's the circle of life. You're born, you live, you die, you go back into the earth and recycle the matter. All right. So in this course, we're going to go over various systems, which I just sort of went over. I'll show you the list briefly, and then each week we'll go into a different system. And we'll talk about how we meet the 7 characteristics of life and how the themes are sort of woven throughout the course. So this is what I was going to write on the board. Cells are the smallest form of life. Tissues are similar cells that perform a specific function. Organs are different types of tissue working together to perform a specific function. Organ systems are when all those organs within one system, like the stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine, the liver, the gallbladder, all work together to digest our food. And then finally, when we put all of our organ systems together, we get an organism like us. These are the 7 organ systems that we'll talk about. I'm not going to go into these in detail right now. That'll be another podcast. So, you have muscle cells, you have skin cells, you have brain cells, you have blood cells, but all of these cells in your body have one thing in common. Even though they have different functions and different structures, all the cells in your body have the same, what is it? DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is what makes you, you. I'm going to stop this video here, and I'm going to pick up with the next video because I don't think I have quite enough time to finish it, but the next video is going to be shorter. So bear with me. I'll post this video, and then I will start the next one, and we'll take off from this slide. All right.